All right, welcome folks to a brand new segment we got here. We kind of started this a little ways back, but I decided to change the name and freshen things up here. So we're going to just simply call it three topics and more. And the and more might change from week to week. You never know what you're going to get, but you're going to get something in the more spot. And today, what we're going to talk about is the quickly subject matter is going to be Skid Row, Jack Russell, David Lee Roth, and Wasp. So to
Yep.
begin everything here, I'm first going to bring in my co-host, Mr. Chris Keebzak. Welcome.
How's everybody doing again? Nice to be here.
All right, yeah. So we got a lot to talk about here. This on this show, we're basically just going to talk about three hot topics that are going on in the music world and just give everybody our take on it. Not sure if you all want to hear what we have to say, but we're going to give you our opinions and we're not going to hold back. There's no sugarcoating stuff with us. We're just going to tell you how we feel, and he might feel different than what I feel, so it's all good. We're not going to lose sleep. We're not going to get in fights or anything like that.
No, no.
And so go ahead. Let's take her away. Give us our first subject we're going to discuss and fill everybody in on it.
All right. Well, lately for the year 2024, music news, I guess, hasn't been like extremely all over the place, but like in big ways or big things are happening, a lot of drama. But the one thing that always stays dramatic since the year 1996 pretty much was Skid Row. And yeah, all the stuff going on with Bach and Skid Row is the stuff that I really wanted to talk about first. As we know, he got caught saying some statements. Well, let's start off here. So we did the thing on Ace Frehley with his record 10,000 volts and was talking about how great that album is. And a lot of the PR team hyping that record is what made it so good. So Bach recently put out a new album. What's the full title of that again, Joe? The Child to the Man, Child Beneath the Man, I think.
Oh, the Sebastian Bach's new album,
Yes, the brand new one. I
The
don't know
Child
if
Within the Man.
that's right, Child Within the Man. So I don't know if you got a chance to listen to the whole thing yet, but I did. And a lot of PR about how great the record is, and that's an opinion-based thing. But what else is going on with all this is when you put out a record that is deemed amazing by the fan base and by the band itself, and it's sort of critically acclaimed, if you think about it from music review sites and stuff. He put his foot in his mouth once again, Bach did on stage, talking about the band and saying that they had nine singers, which we debunked. And it's actually after Bach, it was four singers total, including Solinger, and we'll list those off in a minute. But yeah, it's funny why he named the album the way he did, I feel, with him just being a baby about everything and consistently bitching and complaining about Skid Row. And obviously, there's not a chance of a reunion being put in there, but with what he keeps saying. But yeah, I want to get your opinion on that and see what you thought. Did you watch the clip? What did you think? Is it normal for Bach? Were you surprised he said something like this? What do you think?
No, it's typical Bach, obviously.
Yeah.
He says what he feels. He's not a bad guy by any means, but in essence, he's doing pretty good. He's probably drawing more people to his shows, at least in the States, than Skid Row is.
Yeah.
So in essence, I feel that Bach doesn't really need Skid Row. Skid Row needs Bach. Regardless of what they think, they felt like they were building something back up with their latest singer Eric Gronwell. We still don't know the real reason why he left. One thing is being said, and then I still think there's more to that story, which I'm sure we'll find out down the road. It's just weird. He picked a weird time for the band to leave the band after they made the album. They were touring, they were getting really good reviews, and then all of a sudden you just leave. Something had to have happened there. That's
You
just
know,
my take on it.
I thought so too, but with the news today about a new live record coming out that was recorded with Gronwell, um, I don't know if I believe that anymore because if there was actual drama, unless it was on the other side, I don't feel that album would be coming out. But maybe it's because of all the drama in the news with Skid Row and maybe the not so great publicity that is sort of forcing them to put out a live record. Um, I'm a little excited to listen to it. I know they released a song today. I didn't get a chance to listen to it yet, but yeah, are you going to give what do you think of Skid Row releasing a new live record at this point? Do you think it's publicity, or are you excited to hear it? Do you think it's worth putting out?
Well, considering that they said that a lot of, and I never got to see him Well, so I really can't say. You can only
Me
watch
either. We
YouTube.
almost did.
Yeah, you can only watch YouTube for so long to see, but the live album will tell more, I know a couple big wigs were saying they can't see how it would sound any good because of the usual poor Skid Row production. Um, we'll see. We'll see how it is. Obviously, there's been no audio released yet of this that I know of, at least as of right now, from the actual album itself. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I guess considering he was getting really good reviews, if you have it under contract that that you can release it, why not? They haven't put out many albums over the years, and some of them were like internet releases only or songs that were only released online. So the only way you're going to really try to build up your brand, you got to release physical product. I mean, these guys, come on, how long they've been around? They've been crying about, not having Bach back in the band, and their attendance really isn't the greatest on these shows. And, they really got to, I don't see how they could be happy doing what they're doing like this constantly. It's one thing to say, you definitely don't. Well, great. If you don't want them back in the band, that's not a problem. Like I said, they actually need him more back in the band than he needs them, and that's just the bottom line.
I don't either.
These two camps are just too far apart right now, and Bach keeps putting his foot in his mouth. I mean, I think he's definitely open for a reunion, like he says he is, but still, it's all about ego. A lot of it's about money. How much is he willing to take on it? I mean, there's a lot of things that would really have to be worked out for this ever to really happen. And I just don't, the way these guys are, I just don't see it ever coming to fruition. I don't just don't
Yeah.
think it ever is going to happen.
Yeah, I think the biggest holdout obviously is from the guys in Skid Row, Dave and Rachel specifically. And I also never ever see it happening. And if they talked all the shit in the world one day and called Bach that 2 hours later and said, "Do you want to rejoin?" they would do it. But they cannot handle what Bach's saying about them. And his exact words were, "I'm fascinated by this shirt right here. This is Skid Row with what number singer? 7, 8, 9? What number is that guy, huh? What number? Is that replacement number 7 or number 8 or number 9?" And before you say, "Well, they don't have 9," I can fucking name every fucking one of them. How do you even wear that? It's like ridiculous. Is that the guy from Dragon Force or or fucking TNT or whatever the fuck? Fucking embarrassing. So Bach is a child, and him saying that when it's not truthful, and he's claiming he can name all of them, and not even being able to name the guy's name from Dragon Force that he's talking about, it's insane because he says 9 singers and there's 4 total after Bach. If you include Matt Fallon and him, that's 6 singers total for Skid Row's legacy.
Yeah, go ahead and give him the rundown on the singers there.
So obviously, the first singer of the entire thing was Matt Fallon. He was in the band from 86 to 87. He was replaced from Bach with Bach in 87. Um, Bach leaves in 96. Salinger joins in 99. So they have a hiatus. And as a lot of people know, Skid Row did tour under I think what was the name? Ozone Monday, I think was the name Skid Row played a few shows under in between 96 and 99 when Bach left. Um so after Bach, we had Johnny Solinger join in 99, which he actually his first tour was 2000 opening for Kiss, which I was at. I seen, I believe, the 13th or 14th show of that tour, I believe, is what the Buffalo date was. Um, and then Salinger was replaced by Tony Harnell from TNT in 2015. Um, Unfortunately, Johnny Salinger passes away in 2021. Um, and then ZP Thart from the band Dragon Force, that everyone remembers for their guitar winking skills, was in the band from 2016 to 2022. And then probably the most exciting that came from the fan base, the most excited the fan base was when Eric Gronwell joined and everybody seen what he was capable of. And he lasted just 2022 to 2024. And he was on the first studio album in, I think, almost like 15 years, with The Gang's All Here, which came out last year. So yeah, those are all the singers that sang. There's not nine of them, but there is sort of a lot for the small amount of records and tours
Yeah.
that Skid Row has released, you know?
Yeah, so as full length albums go, it looks like there's only been the three singers, obviously Sebastian, Mr. Solinger, and Eric was
Yeah,
on the Gangs All Here, which came out in 2022.
yeah,
There's been other stuff released, but it's mostly been singles and stuff that's only been released online. So nothing in the vein of a full album. So I mean, it just goes to show you that these guys, they go through drummers, they go through singers, and but they don't even make albums hardly. You've
right.
made let's see, since Sebastian left with Subhuman Race. You got Thick Skin in 2003, and then United World Rebellion, Chapter 2 in
Yep.
2014. I'm not even sure what even happened to Chapter 1.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Very weird. Well,
Well,
chapter
American
one,
Revolutions was released in 2006. Um,
yeah, but
but that
chapter one
was
did come out. It's a double EP and it was released on April 16th, 2013 and August 5th, 2014 by Megaforce Records. Were Skid Row's final recordings with singer Johnny Solinger.
hmm, it's weird. They don't even have that listed under their discography. Really weird. This has been a weird situation. This band
I
really,
know.
they really need to clean up their act. I mean, I'm sorry. And now this, obviously they got Lizzie Hale out there singing with them for a few shows, and everybody was raving about her. But my perception of the whole thing was it just seemed like a glorified cover band out there with her playing,
I
singing,
agree.
singing. The videos I seen, nothing. Yeah, she's got a great voice. Yeah, she can sing. Yeah, it must have been a different atmosphere seeing her sing.
Yeah.
But these
And
guys
cool
aren't the
for her because she's obviously a big fan. So good for her. But yeah, I agree with you. It was nothing to write home about, and it feels like a cover band. And I didn't get that feeling with Salinger and Gronwell. I remember seeing video of him doing Quicksand Jesus once, and it's very clear why they stopped playing that song for 2 years.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's enough on the Skid Row. Just give us
Yeah.
your closing remarks on it.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see a reunion, but I think I'd rather see the reunion for the dramatic purposes because at this point they just can't stop and they're not gonna if they ever get back together, it's gonna be a train wreck, but it would be very interesting to watch. I feel it would be very close to like the Sam and Dave tour, with different vibe, but
Yeah.
I think it would be really dramatic. Someone would be sick real quick. So, but no, yeah, I think it's ridiculous what Bach's saying, but it's funny at this point. And if there's not going to be a reunion, let the words fly, in my opinion. That's my closing statement on Skid Row.
All right. So the next subject we want to tackle is Jack Russell, real quick. This one will be a shorty.
Yeah,
I guess Jack's feeling a little under the weather, having some health related issues. They haven't speculated as to what, but they have announced in advance that a concert that's upcoming for him, he will not be there at, but the band is still going to carry on, with the show. And to do that, who do they bring in? Well, they go and bring in none other than a guy who sang with Mark Kendall's version of Great White, Andrew Freeman.
yes, very weird.
So give us a rundown on that.
Yeah, very weird. So, obviously, Jack Russell has been in really rough shape lately, sitting on stools, which he's been doing for a while and doing it well. But lately, obviously, he's my opinion, think he's obviously extremely drugged up because of his health and is really coming off as sick and ill playing these shows and almost feels like it's like a Phil Collins situation where it sort of feels like he's being pushed to do this for money and it's really sad to watch actually. If you haven't seen the videos on YouTube, I recommend watching them and see what's going on. Do you choose if you want to support it or not? I personally would not. Um, honestly, I would support this maybe if they were going out to collect money for um for Jack's health, or to help his family, or to help his legacy when he unfortunately passes. I'm all for that. I would go see Andrew Freeman play with these guys. And if Jack was there hanging out, whatever, cool. But watching him perform those songs where he can't even speak, let alone sing, is very sad for me. So I guess I don't, this almost seems forced to me by the venue, because the venue makes it very clear in this press statement that they are not issuing refunds at all. So as long as this show's happening, you're out of luck. If you want your money back because you wanted to go see Jack, it it doesn't matter. You're not getting your money back. According to the press release today, maybe that will change with the reception of that, but as of now, that is what was being said. So yeah, I don't
Hmm.
know what I feel about that. I mean, the show must go on, right? But depending on how much that show was, and I believe there are other bands on that show, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's like Slaughter, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I did see something about a bill
Um,
of people that was also on that bill. Oh, it's Great
yes,
White and the Bullet Boys.
there you go. That's what it was. The Bullet Boys, right? So yeah, I don't know what I feel about that. I think this whole thing should end with Jack. Maybe it's one of those things where he's saying, "Well, there's another great white out there doing it, and I'm going to do it until I completely can't do it anymore." But I
Mm,
feel we're at the point where he completely cannot do it anymore. And if anything happens to him, if he was to fall ill on stage or
yeah.
unfortunately pass away, there's going to be a lot of people to blame, in my opinion, including venues and promoters and agents.
Well,
Um,
I mean, I think it's Jack. Jack's
it
making. He's
probably
got
is,
to be
but
making
it's
the call. I mean, he's the type of
yeah,
guy, though. Being how that I interviewed him many times. He seems like one of these guys that he'll probably die on the stage, and he's probably happy doing it. Sadly, as it might sound right now, remorse with all that's going on, but that's just Jack Russell. He just loves the stage, and there's no doubt that he, in his prime, really was hard to touch. He was actually uh, was quoted by some people that he was a great did a great Robert Plant imitation by Plant himself, even told him, not him personally, but somebody that he heard secondhand from.
right.
And he was really flattered by that because obviously he loves Led Zeppelin, Jack Russell does, and he made two Led Zeppelin cover albums live,
Yeah.
and those albums are really good and definitely worth checking out if you get a chance. Jack Russell's Great White, Great Zeppelin 2, and there's one that he did with his old band, the Great Zeppelin, that was recorded back in like '98. Um, that was released. Great material. They did a phenomenal job, and it was just a really good stuff to see. He's got a lot of. I mean, Jack Russell's had a great career. It's a shame that there were certain things that kind of derailed it from time to time, and it's just without bringing it up, you don't really want to bring up the bad thing that happened, but that definitely has a lot to do with what's ended up going on years on down the road. Sadly as it may seem.
Right.
But a great singer, no doubt, in his prime. But it might be time to make sure to take care of himself first before making sure that he can get back out on the road and actually perform at the level he's accustomed to and at least safe. You don't want it to be, anything bad to happen if he rushes back out to get back out on the road. Um,
Right.
that's basically the end thing with that. Did you have any last take on?
Yeah, no, just we're getting to the point in our fandom as music fans in general that bands are going out at very old. I mean, look at the Aerosmith thing. I mean, is there a chance we're gonna get our Buffalo show? I don't know. Probably not. And are we gonna get lucky enough to see the last Aerosmith show ever? I don't know. But these guys aren't getting any younger. Some of these bands like Aerosmith's touring schedule is just rigorous for how old these guys are. And I think we're watching in real time the end of a lot of these bands.
But the problem is once you start getting up there in age, You don't have no control of your health. You don't have no control of a lot of things,
Right.
so that's the only problem with that. But let's get down to our last subject we want to talk about
Yep.
and go ahead and tell them about that.
Yeah, and that's so David Lee Roth, as we know, over the past couple years, have been releasing songs one by one. For a little time there, it was like three or four Van Halen songs, like once a week or something like that. Which actually, not gonna lie, they sort of become some of my favorite versions. Those songs, I really really dig that they're changed a little bit. It's like my favorite version of cover, my favorite cover songs are ones that aren't done 100% carbon copy. An example of that would be Weezer doing Toto's Africa, carbon copy back to back. I mean, it's the same song. So this I feel is a little different. So what Roth did this time was in an odd turn of events, released a Tommy Two-Tone song in 8675309, which obviously is a very well-known song. I like the idea that that's the one that he did, or that he picked a song like that, because those kind of hits, they were huge when I was growing up. Like even in the 90s, 2000s, that was a nostalgia thing, was songs like that. Now, those songs are sort of becoming like what the 40s and 50s and 60s songs were when I was,
Mm.
growing up. So it's sort of starting to disappear. So for him to release a song like that, I think it's sort of cool. Maybe that will get young kids that like David Lee Roth and Van Halen a chance to check out some 80s pop that they otherwise wouldn't have heard in 2024. So I do dig it. I like the acoustic vibe, and I hope he keeps releasing materials. If it's covers and Van Halen songs, I'm totally okay with that. Probably more so than if he released originals, to be honest, at this point in his career,
Yeah.
because I do like what he's doing.
All right, and just to give my quick take on it, a lot of people were kind of bashing him in the comments all over the place. Considering some of the other stuff this guy's released over the last 20 years, I think it's a commendable version. I don't see a problem with it. I mean, it's not bad. His voice sounds okay. You know, uh, just be glad he's still trying to make music because at one point he was talking about being retired and calling it a day. Now, if he doesn't do any more live shows, that's one thing. But at least he's still doing new music, I guess, even if it is a cover. So kudos to Roth. Not a bad song at all. And that's what we say about that.
Yep,
And now I'm going to end our segment. So this is the and more part today. So today we're going to get to talk about a new tour that was announced recently. And about a week ago, we found out that Blackie Lawless and Wasp are going to hit the touring trails one more time.
yep,
The name of the tour is called Album One Alive, which obviously wakes a lot of people up because it's the 40th anniversary of the first album from Wasp. And to celebrate that classic release, he's going to do the entire album from top to bottom, start to finish on tour this fall. So that it is simply amazing. We've seen Wasp before. There's been a lot of talk about, pumping in vocals, lip singing with Blackie. I mean, I was right up in front of him near the stage in Cleveland. It sounded like to me he was singing. Maybe he's got some background vocals pumped in nowadays. Who don't? Because his band doesn't really seem like they do a lot of singing. So, but to get the songs the full marks, he's got to use something to try to help build up the chorus, and but he doesn't sound bad for a guy who's at his age. He took a lot of time off. He wasn't really doing a lot of live shows for a while, and he hit the road back in 2022, but then he fell into some problems overseas with a bad back. He had some surgery, I believe, and so a tour was announced prior, but then they had to scrap it. So then this is now the new updated tour dates, and it has a lot of dates listed here. So tickets already went on sale back in May 29th for a lot of these pre-sales, and general public, it went on sale on May 31st. So tickets are out there. Usually we always say if you going to get tickets to a general admission show, they'll be out there until they're sold. But if it's a venue that has seating, Sometimes if you wait closer to the show, they release more tickets. Sometimes they become a little cheaper, just our little take on things to give you a little bit of a heads up. They're going to offer VIP tickets as well, where you get to take part with a personal photo, autographs, and a special question and answer session prior to the show, which is really cool. I've seen some of them on film from the last tour.
Yeah.
It's a little pricey. I think it's around $300 for a Blackie meet and greet, but
Yeah.
all the perks you get with it, and then you get that question and answer session. It's
It's sort of
actually,
it's worth it more so than some that are out there.
yeah, oh yeah, and it's definitely affordable more so than some of the others because of what you get with it. Now, just to give you a quick rundown, obviously out here in the Buffalo market, you're gonna have to do some driving. Unfortunately, there's no show in Buffalo or Erie, Pennsylvania, or Rochester. So the closest cities we got on November the 10th, you can try to catch them in Detroit, Michigan at the Royal Oak Theater. 11:11, 2-hour drive up to Toronto at History. Another close nearby show would be on the 19th of November in Cleveland, Ohio at the Agora. And the other close by show that isn't too bad of a drive is to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 3-hour drive over to Stage AE. Another nice newer venue there. Definitely check it out if you get a chance. One of those shows, that's what we recommend. And then it's going to be a interesting support acts here on those shows. So as far as support goes, you got Death Angel,
Unto others.
Unto Others. Okay,
Yep.
the way they got it all worded together, I'm going, what?
Yeah,
Unto
yeah.
Others. Okay.
Unto Others is actually great. My band One Way Terror got to play with Unto Others at Mohawk Place, and they're a great band. Very goth rock inspired. I love that Blackie is like what he did with Armored Saint on the last tour. I love that he's bringing out a band from the past that were once decently big in the underground scene, like Death Angel, like Armored Saint. And I love that he's bringing Unto Others, one band that nobody knows of. It's perfect. They're a great band. Check them out. This is a really great tour he put together. Let's hope he plays the whole album. Let's hope he doesn't pull no tricks
Yeah,
like what Kiss did with Alive. And no, 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 no. If you're gonna play the whole album, play the whole album.
yep, like Aerosmith did with Toys in the Attic. They said they
Yeah,
were gonna. They only played at one show out of the 12 or so shows that ended up happening before
yeah.
Tyler fell off the stage and hurt himself. All right, so that concludes this episode here of the three topics and more. Stay tuned for another one down the road. We're just gonna randomly throw them out there when there's something good to talk about and get some discussion going, and we'll post these up right away. And thanks for checking it out, and let us know what you think.
All right. Nice seeing you guys. We'll see you soon.